Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch of Crime Talk. Thanks for watching. First on the docket, the largest single-family home in New York City is up for sale. Guess who owns it? Second, a mysterious death in Michigan. Third, a Johnny Ortiz case update. Authorities believe they have found the body of a 2-year-old in California who is reported kidnapped. An update on the Florida fishing massacre. A lawyer was admonished for his language by the court. Basically said, you're not helping your client. More guns and masks and our dumb criminal contestant of the day, and a recap of our contestants throughout the week. Let's talk about it. Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch from Crime Talk. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so already, I'd ask that you please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave us a comment, and always hit that little bell so that you receive notifications of when we go live. Now, first on the docket, that's right, the largest single-family home in New York City is up for sale. Who owns it? That's right, Jeffrey Epstein owns it. And it's on the market for a cool $88 million. According to listing agents, this particular piece of property could be the biggest townhouse sale in New York City if it sells for $88 million listing price. Of course, that surpassed the previous record of $77.1 million last year. Now, what do you get for $88 million these days? Well, it's just not as much as you would think. I mean, it's 7 stories tall. It's on 71st Street, has 40 total rooms, including 10 bedrooms. Who needs 10 bedrooms? Well, maybe Jeffrey Epstein did. 15 bathrooms. It has an unobstructed view of Central Park. It is right across the street from the Click Collection Museum. Agents trying to sell this particular piece also say that it could easily present itself as a palatial consulate, embassy, foundation, or a museum to once again house some of the world's greatest works of art. This French neoclassical building comes with some 28,000 square feet. It has 15-foot tall oak entry doors, imported French limestone, meticulously decorated with carvings, sculptures, figures, and ornamental ironworks. Now, Epstein's Palm Beach residence is on the market for a cool $21.9 million. So for $110 million, you could own both of those pieces of property. Maybe if you buy 2, you can get 1 free, throw in his little island or the little estate down in New Mexico. I'm sure they're eager to sell. Of course, when you buy the house, it comes with the history and legacy of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the montage that we talked about, we're putting a couple of those together for you right now. Go ahead and take a listen.
Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison. Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell.
So today is day 22 of the Ghislaine, the Madam Maxwell suicided watch. That's right, 22 days in custody for Miss Maxwell. And a lot of people keep saying, why is there no mugshot of Miss Maxwell? You're right. I searched. I couldn't find one either. If anyone has a mugshot for Ghislaine, the Madam Maxwell, please put it in the comments below. I would love to see it. I was unable to find one. Next on the docket, a mysterious death in Michigan. Now, police in Michigan have said that they have found the body of whom they believe to be a professional poker player, and her name is Susie Zhao. And they found her in Michigan Park, and the police have described the death as mysterious. I would describe it as a murder. So what do the police know? They know that they discovered the body of Miss Zhao near the Pontiac Lake Recreation Area on the outskirts of Detroit about 8:30 on July 13th. She was ultimately identified, and the police simply say it is a mystery, a mysterious death. The police, however, didn't stop there. They went on to speculate that Zhao's death may be connected to her gambling in other states. Apparently, Ms. Zhao lived in Los Angeles as well as Nevada before recently moving back to Michigan to live with her parents to confront challenges she was having in her personal life. Obviously, it's a sad day for the Zhao family, and our hearts go out to her. To the police, I would describe this as a homicide, given the fact that she was murdered. The police still have not said the cause of death, but clearly somebody was trying to cover something up, hence the reason they burned Miss Zhao's body. So maybe they should just say it's an unsolved homicide investigation instead of a mystery. Next on the docket, a Johnny Ortiz update. For those of you who do not recall or have any idea who Johnny Ortiz is, he was an actor who appeared in McFarland, USA with Kevin Costner and with Aaron Paul in El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. He was arrested in late May, and he still remains locked up, unable to make bond, which is set at $1.1 million. His parents have set up a GoFundMe page and insist that he is in fact innocent. But what we have learned recently is that the co-defendant, who is also charged, Armando Miguel Navarro, is charged with attempted murder, and that the attempted murder of a Brian Duke is gang-related. And it is alleged that Navarro is the one who pulled the trigger, but they believe that Ortiz was the one driving, and they knew exactly where they were going and why. We've talked about this circumstance quite a bit. In this particular case, there were also two individuals in the backseat of the car, but only Navarro and Ortiz were charged. This is a classic example of complicity. If the two people in the front of the car, the driver and the shooter, know what's going to take place, drive by here so I can shoot out of the car, they are complicit. The driver is complicit, and he can be charged as a principal and is guilty just as though he had pulled the trigger himself. The two people in the back may say, hey, I had no idea. They were just giving me a ride. I had no control, had no idea where we were going. So it comes down to, what does somebody know and when did they know it? It's unfortunate that a man who had the world kind of given to him ruined it so quickly by getting involved in something silly as a drive-by shooting. So quick recess. Everyone thought that Johnny Ortiz guy apparently was a good kid. Apparently, he kind of lived a double secret life, which is why everybody needs a background subscription service. So you can check out the people that you think you know, but you're not exactly certain about. Particularly if you're going to be getting involved with them romantically, if you're going to be doing business ventures with them, you want to know with whom you are dealing. So go to CrimeTalkSearch.com, sign up for your background subscription service. And the beautiful thing is you can search as many people as you want when you have this subscription. There's a no-risk trial. You can cancel at any time. And when you search this individual, it's completely anonymous. And you will then get a report, and it will include phone numbers, emails, social media, criminal records, bankruptcies, property records, and civil judgments. Those are the types of things that people may not necessarily want to tell you about them because it may look poorly for them. So if you have doubts, if you're not sure who you're dealing with, go to CrimeTalkSearch.com. We have put up testimonials where people have said, we went and got CrimeTalkSearches.com background subscription, and they've said that a person that they were getting involved with romantically, that they did the search, and they found out that the person had accusations against minors, and he lied about it. These are the type of things that go on every day. There's one way you can do it. Go to CrimeTalkSearch.com. Let them search the millions of public records so that you can have the truth. Next on the docket, police have located the body of Thaddeus Saran. This was the 2-year-old that was born prematurely and has many issues, including the fact that he's just learning how to walk. The parents, who have lawyered up and are no longer cooperating with the police, reported that on July 14th, they put Thaddeus to bed at about 10 p.m., and when they woke up the following morning, he was gone. Clearly, the police must not believe, or there must not be much of any evidence to show that anyone entered the house through a window or a front door, and that's why they were looking at the parents. Now, obviously, these parents have a right to remain silent once they become a suspect, and they've exercised that right, and they'll be given that presumption of innocence. But if anyone's been a parent, if your child was missing and you had nothing to do with it, you would be doing everything in your power and ability to make sure you are assisting the police in locating that child. Apparently, that did not take place here. Next on the docket, an update on the Florida fishing massacre. As we talked about the last couple of days, a crazy case out of Florida has developed. And the victims, Damian Tillman, Kevin Springfield, and Brandon Rollins, were all found dead Saturday after they had been beaten and shot. And it turns out that the person that beat and shot them was a gentleman by the name of Tony T.J. Wiggins. He apparently had a beef with Kevin Springfield, learned about where they were going, overhearing a conversation at a dollar store, followed them to a location, TJ, his brother, and his girlfriend, whereupon TJ Wiggins gets out of the car, confronts Kevin about stealing an engine from his truck, and winds up shooting all three gentlemen that were there. The father of Brandon Rollins received a call while all this was going on and headed to the location and ultimately called 911. Now, these are not wealthy people, but I'm sure they are proud people. And to have to raise money to bury someone, no one would have to do that. But according to the police department down there, the funeral costs have been covered through public donations. So obviously it's a tragedy. Nobody likes to have to borrow money, let alone to come up with funds to make funeral arrangements. So at least something good came from this. The sheriff wants T.J. Wiggins put to death. And his words were, give him a fair trial, give him appeals, and then let's kill him. The sheriff didn't mince words in any way, and Mr. Wiggins has a huge criminal history. 15 felony convictions, and it's unclear. There were reports of 230 felony charges, or clearly not all arrests, but something's not exactly certain there. But when you start having 15 felony convictions, it's time for you to go away. Clearly, you don't get it. You are antisocial, and there's just some people that cannot function in society. Unfortunately, the people that probably knew this about T.J. Wiggins didn't have the ability to send him away longer. He did 2 stints in the Florida Department of Corrections, but now he's going to get a third. And I'm sure he'll be lucky if he thinks it's a third, because it may end early if he's put to death. Next on the docket, a lawyer has been admonished by the court for his creative and flowery language. Now, a lot of people leave comments and say, you're a defense attorney. All you do is lie. That's all defense attorneys do. No. Lawyers have a duty of candor to the court. We have to treat all parties with respect. And it may not seem like it at the time. And don't get me wrong, there are lots of attorneys out there that I don't like. Some are just absolute jerks. Well, the attorney in this Tennessee case doesn't help the cause of attorneys everywhere. The attorney that was feeling the rash from the appellate courts was a gentleman by the name of Francis Santori Jr. And he was filing a class action antitrust lawsuit. The matter was ultimately thrown out. He was allowed to amend it. The judge at the district court level threw it out, and it went up to the Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals said, you've got no case. But to say that the court was less than impressed with some of his language would be an understatement. For example, these are some of the things that he described. And the names that are used are companies that were the co-defendants. And he stated, "The Ballard and MEAC are intertwined in an incestuous relationship, the likes of which have not been seen since the days of Sodom and Gomorrah." He went on and stated that the Tennessee Department of Health's failure to supervise the defendants is akin to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation allowing criminals to rape, murder, and pillage, loot, and plunder on its watch while its agents stand by. He further stated that a virus has been effectively introduced into the Ballard board, which has sickened all 11 directors and which requires their permanent quarantine. Now, that may not seem so bad if you hear it on the news or something to that effect, but in court, you do not get to personally attack defendants in the courtroom. And the court admonished Mr. Santori by stating, quote, "The court expects attorneys practicing before it as officers of the court to adhere to the highest standards of ethics." The appellate courts went on to remind Mr. Santori, quote, "Like the district court, we take a moment to remind plaintiff's counsel that as an officer of court, he is expected to treat other parties in this case, as well as their counsel, with courtesy and professionalism. That is, of course, not to say that legal documents must be written in dry legalese, nor is it to criticize passionate and forceful advocacy in the aid of a client's cause, a lawyer's virtue that counsel has displayed at points in this litigation. But one cannot equate contempt with courage or insults with independence. We cannot dismiss the disparaging statements in this case as a mere stylistic flourishes or vigorous advocacy. Counsel will best serve his clients if he remembers this going forward." Basically, what that court said is, act professional, be polite and courteous to all people, and you'll be treated with the same dignity and respect. And, oh, by the way, you're not helping your client by bad-mouthing the other side. They only are interested in the facts. Hopefully, Mr. Santori will learn from his admonition from the court, something that would be quite embarrassing, I'm sure. Next on the docket, that's right, more cases regarding masks and guns. A 28-year-old man has been charged with pulling his licensed gun on another man who questioned why he wasn't wearing a coronavirus mask at a Walmart in Florida. Vincent Scavetta of Lake Worth Beach was arrested on 2 felony charges, according to the Palm Beach County deputies who announced the arrest via Twitter. "Welcome to the PBC jail, son. Let this be a lesson. It could have ended badly." That's what the tweet said from the sheriff. This all revolves around a July 12th incident that was captured on surveillance video. Christopher Estrada, 46, of West Palm Beach, who was shopping with his daughter, made a comment to Scavetta about not wearing a mask, according to court reports. Estrada told deputies that after they exchanged angry words and some profanities, that Scavetta brandished the gun near his face and threatened to kill. Scavetta, of course, had a completely rational and justifying excuse, said he had a mask, but it got wet before he entered the store with his father, who was in fact in a wheelchair. Scavetta was ultimately arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a firearm, improper exhibition of a firearm, and his bail was set at $15,000. It was immediately after this incident that Walmart said that all people would have to wear masks, and we've talked about it. It's private property. They can make you do that. And quick little word of advice. If somebody asks you to wear a mask, you should probably say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I forgot. Let me pull it out of my pocket and put it on." Or say, "Yeah, I'm not really into that. Thank you very much." And walk away. Let it go. Nothing I could imagine, nor would it be easy to explain to a jury that you thought you had to put a gun to somebody's head when they're shopping with their daughter because he asked you to put on a mask. Take a deep breath, ladies and gentlemen. If that's what it's coming to, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. all right? But it doesn't require menacing anyone with a firearm. Next on the docket, our dumb criminal contestant of the day. And our dumb criminal contestant of the day is Robert Prevet. He lives in Charleston, South Carolina, but he was going to take a trip to Key West for some business. Well, that's right. And what's the logical thing to do when you're on a business trip? You make sure you never forget your spy camera that can fit under the door so that if you happen to have a couple of females next door, you can try and slide the camera under the door so that you can see them naked. Now, what Mr. Prevet failed to do is exercise some judgment and common sense that maybe they put doors on other people's hotel rooms because you're not invited. And when you not only put a camera underneath the door and engage in voyeurism and catch one of the participants standing naked in front of a mirror because she was going to send photos to her boyfriend, and her friend then comes out of the bathroom after showering, notices the camera on the ground looking around. That's not only illegal, it's just downright creepy, Mr. Prevet. Now, we'll give Mr. Prevet the presumption of innocence, but he did not do himself any favors. Mr. Prevet was contacted by the police because the young ladies said that they saw somebody run into the room next door. When Mr. Prevet was contacted by the police, apparently he became very nervous and began to sweat profusely. He made initial claims of denial, and when the police said, "We're just going to get a warrant to search your room," Mr. Prevet consented to the search of the room, where they found the spy camera tucked into the cushion of a couch. Mr. Prevet also gave further information that he has used his little spy camera some 10 times that he admitted to, because nobody gets caught their first time, Mr. Prevet. This man, assuming he is found guilty, is a sex offender of the worst kind. The sad thing is that he apparently works as a defense contractor and is rather smart, which is probably why he thought he could get away with this. But he's just a little creepy. And so Mr. Prevet, for being creepy and sliding cameras under the door where people can actually see them, you are a dumb criminal contestant of the day. You know, most people drill little holes, do other weird, creepy things, Mr. Prevet. So you get it for the camera. Now that Mr. Prevet has been crowned the dumb criminal contestant of the day, we get to see how he stacks up with our dumb criminal contestants of the week. Obviously, creepy businessman sliding cameras under the door, Robert Prevet. Thursday, we have Karen from Washington State, who demanded to be served with not wearing a mask at Papa John's. On Wednesday, we had Wendy Ween, 51, who tried to hire a hitman online, only to discover that it was a satirical site, but that the police officer who she made the deal with was real. Tuesday, we had the Go Big or Go Home, the woman who walked out of Walmart with the 65-inch screen television, only to realize it wasn't going to fit in her car and abandon it. And yes, on Monday, we had Zachary Cato. He was the man that was arrested for stenciling and using spray paint underneath stop signs stating racism as well as "I can't breathe," only to be found at his house with paint on his fingers, spray cans and stencils in the trash can, and he confessed to it. We have got a strong group of contenders this week. Since we can't do polls anymore in the videos, let us know down below who is the winner of the week. We'll announce the winner on Monday. That's all we've got for you today. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday on Crime Talk.